Before we get into the panel discussion, we have a presentation. And for that, I would like to call on stage Mr. Rupinder Singh, COO of UnivLabs, to make his presentation.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good to have so many doctors, founders, hospital CEOs at one place. And I was actually very excited about the event. So I thought I will be spending most of my time today here. But Bangalore traffic, it took me 2 hours and 40 minutes from Delhi to Bangalore flight, and then 2 hours 14 minutes in the taxi, from airport to here. But Bangalore is a beautiful city. I keep coming here. Last week also I was there. So little bit about myself. My name is Rupinder Singh, and I have worked with multinationals like BD. So I was heading BD India for BD Biosciences business. Then after that, I was heading another multinational for Asia as Regional Director Asia with Carry Group. And then last 11 years, I have been entrepreneur myself. And then I was mentoring several startups. And that's where, the UnivLab happened. Now talking about UnivLab, that's one company which is make in India and is competing with the top multinationals in the world. You must have heard Carl Stores, you must have heard Stryker, Olympus, but this is one company which has filed 16 global patents. Oftentimes when we go to the new hospitals and surgeons, they say, oh, you are a new kid on the block. So my reply is no, for last 9 years, we have been inventing, we have done a lot of patents. So mostly it was an R&D company for first 7 years, supported by BIRAC, supported by Ministry of Electronics. And I'm happy to share that, we gave 36x returns to Ministry of Electronics. And we are doing pretty well. But before I start, I would like to talk about why digital healthcare. Everyone knows that we started our life from one cell. Now imagine if that one cell just keeps dividing randomly, what will happen? Rupinder Singh will be a ball of cells, or lying somewhere as a heap. But that doesn't happen. It is so programmed, so structured. From one cell, we have a beautiful human being with 2 arms equal. My fingers are not fused. I have 2 eyes, That too, I don't have eye in the back. From the same cell, we have nervous system, we have bones, we have eyes, and my nose stops growing after this, because there is programmed cell death, which happens at a very, very specific event. So let me remind you, inside the cell, you have more traffic than Bangalore traffic. And it is programmed so well, it does not collide. If it goes bad, we have problems. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is role of digital, role of data. Our body is generating so much of data, and it's all in silos. But time is not far when we will have everything being monitored. And now imagine one person will have so many cells, so much data will be generated out of that. And now imagine $8 billion people on the earth. Now you can imagine, the kind of value which can be unlocked. We hear about, Nevada doing so good on stock markets, and we talk about artificial intelligence, but intelligence came from biological systems. Neural network came from biological world, Similarly, as I said, we all start our life from one cell, programmed so beautifully. So there is an algorithm there, which we need to decode. And anybody who will decode that algorithm is going to have huge value creation. So let me now start with my presentation. Next 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. I won't take a lot of your time. I'm going to share with you what UnivLab is into. So as I shared with you, we are the only company from India region which has worked on laparoscopy tower. Happy to share with you, last 3 months we have more than 50 installations with a lot of customers who are praising about our product. We just get the chip outside, maybe Carl Stores or Stryker is also buying from the same chip manufacturer globally. There are only 4 or 5 chip manufacturers. So we are as indigenous as Carl Stores of the world or Stryker of the world. We have laparoscopy tower for which, I'm having meetings back to back. I was in Bangalore last week itself, and we are seeing humongous response from the market. I'm not going to talk about the laparoscopy tower today. I'm actually going to talk about something which is going to help the digital part of it. So we have a product which is called as collaborative surgical module, which means when there is an operation which is happening, a surgeon is operating inside the operation theater, simultaneously, live. There are hundreds of others who can also collaborate on the same. A junior doctor is inside, a senior doctor on his tab can actually guide that, okay, don't move this side, go here. So he can actually make a point on his tab that, don't go there, there is nerve, you can cut that. So, it's here. Similarly, you don't have to take all the medical students inside the OT. They can all see it live and can be taught through collaborative surgical module. So that's the product all about. Can we have next slide, please? So see, government is trying to do humongous work, I have been meeting government doctors. We have been winning a lot of tenders through GEM and top hospitals like Safdarjung or ESIC or AIMS. They have all bought our systems. But I happened to go to Gurgaon. Gurgaon is called Millennium City. And I went and met CMO. And he was very kind enough, he gives his time. So we spent time. But I found that Millennium City have very poor infrastructure, So most of the government hospitals have very poor infrastructure. Private hospitals are doing excellent job in terms of providing healthcare to patients. But my point is still a lot of stuff is happening in the silos. And this is where, we need to connect more and more. So government hospitals prioritize citizens' well-being. However, leadership may lack accurate insights into hospital infrastructure and efficiency due to the vastness. We have 1.4 billion people, and a lot of people are poor, so they have to go to the government hospitals anyway. And then there is absence of monitoring mechanisms further, which hampers the efficiency of the care delivery. Next slide, please. So also there is lack of direct ownership in faster breakdowns or slower replacements compared to private hospitals. This leads to inefficient functioning and impacts patient care. Long chain approval process. Government, the processes are too long. At the same time, a lot of private hospitals, I am working very closely with the founders and CEOs because I have a network from my Becton Dickinson days or Carey days. There also I have seen still, a lot of hospitals, a lot of private hospitals, they have to still move out of that old thought process. So I'm not criticizing, but I'm saying collectively we have to address this. Delays in approval hinders timely repairs and replacement. Next slide, please. So another challenge is inefficiencies in service and maintenance. This also, if all the data is captured and is kept in the cloud, I think this can be addressed as well. Next slide, please. Another problem, India and how it works, We've also seen that, we have heard, that a lot of surgeries which are done in the papers are actually not done in Ayushman Bharat. So collaborative surgical module is able to capture each and every live surgery, goes in the cloud, and even for medical legal purposes, for the training purposes, For all purposes, data is there. And life is all about data. See, I actually came from biotech background. I was a gold medalist biotechnologist from Punjab University, Chandigarh, CSIR fellow. When I started going into hospitals, I think we have to go a long way. When I went into the OT, there was a manual list, of the patient. That these are the guys who are to be operated. Inside the OT, it's only doctor and nurses. And patient is unconscious. So nobody knows what's happening to the patient. There is no record which is happening there. I come from doctor's family, so I have huge respect for my father and my parents. I'm not suspecting. Doctors are next to God considered always because they save lives. But what I'm saying is, life is all about data, record, capturing, analyzing in a smarter way, using artificial intelligence to analyze and improve. That's where the value disruption will happen. So this is also going to happen in those cases. No tracking of inefficient surgeries or medical negligence of surgeries done at private hospitals under Ayushman Bharat. Next slide, please. So what we have done as a solution, we have centralized monitoring of hospital medical equipment assets. We can do state-wise. We can work very closely with the government. Let me also share with you, when we came with our product as Make in India product, so a lot of people were suspecting that, they said, is it Make in India? Is it really, have you imported something and, you have done assembly and all? But let me share with you 16 global patents and 9 years of work and big support from the government. We are trying to really improve the healthcare. And this is where this product is going to also help the overall healthcare for recording everything. With centralized visibility, leadership can take pinpoint action and call for report. Will make local hospital leadership more accountable. Hospitals, surgical infrastructure and diagnostic infrastructure efficiency can be measured as well. Now let me also say one thing, a lot of people will agree with me or not, but my perspective, because I come from the other side as well, when patient is ill, we rush for diagnosis, but damage is already done. We do a blood test, but almost everything is done. You can't do anything at that point. But time is going to come when we will have all the parameters coming live, and that should be the way. And that data gets recorded. That data goes in the cloud. So that you are continuously monitoring if kidney is going to fail in next 10 years or 5 years, or glucose is, already pre-diabetic level. We do when all the damage is done. So, believe me, we'll have microchips inside the body, monitoring everything, recording everything, and will be accessible. And that is where the value disruption will happen. And I will seek, I keep seeking a lot of support from all the healthcare professionals or founders or CEOs, CXOs. This is the big opportunity which is unfolding, and let's work together. Next slide, please. So centralized recording of surgeries. Any point of time, patient XYZ, the data gets recorded and you can pull it out whenever it is needed. So this is what collaborative surgical module can do for us. Next slide, please. And let's have a fair system. Let's have an open system where government hospital doctors, private doctors, they can collaborate and work together. I'm not saying all this is possible, but we are trying to create a very productive system, very answerable system, very recorded system, very fair system. And we are lobbying very closely with the government the way we lobbied for our product. When we started making laparoscopy tower, so they were like, oh, no, this is a rocket science. Cannot be done here. But I will show you, what has happened. Just next slide, please. So this is how, a central hospital equipment monitoring system works. I don't want to take a lot of time on this. Next slide, please. This is what CSM can do. Next slide, please. Yeah, so collaborative surgical module can actually help with all the systematic and structured way of recording the data and accessing, helping the government hospitals record, private hospitals. A lot of work can be done in this direction. Next slide, please. So this is the proposal which we submitted to the government. Next slide, please. This is the leadership team of the company. Our founder, Sunil Kumar Singh, he used to work with Stryker R&D in US. And once he came to Lucknow, SGPGI hospital, for selling some expensive beds. And when he came there, he saw that on Stryker bed, expensive bed, 2-3 patients on the same bed. Very poor people, bahar kapde sook rahe the. I don't know how many of us know Hindi here, but he saw that, such expensive beds and very poor infrastructure. So he decided that he will make something which will help the country. Rather than, and I would like to share with you 85 to 90% of all medical devices are still being imported from outside. Are we such lame? We are spending millions and billions on the instruments which are all being imported. And this is where he thought that he will start manufacturing these in India. It took him 9 years. Very, very difficult entrepreneurial journey, if I can say, because I have been working with several entrepreneurs. I have been helping them with fundraise. I help UnivLab also for the fundraise. Then we have Dr. Professor Anil Mandhani. He is head of urology at Fortis Gurgaon. So it's a combination of doctors and engineers, you can say. And the good part is, a lot of doctors have invested in the company because once they saw the product, they could see that this company will do something one day. So we have now investors from Google, from J&J, doctors from US, doctor from Apollo, doctor from Fortis. So big pool of investors. Then myself, even Mr. Ajit Manocha, he is head of semiconductor industry. He's on the advisory panel of PMO. Next slide, please. So I want to, so this is where, we gave 36x return to the Ministry of Electronics. I want to leave with a small story. We were called to Nirban Bhavan by Dr. Atul Goyal, Director General of Health Services. And there were 2 lobbies, which were debating that day, that should we stop the refurbished instruments import or should we support the Make in India? And there was heated discussions, on both sides. And in the end, it was concluded, and what we said, and I think I must share with you, we said, if India can do Chandrayaan, which is a rocket science, making a laparoscopy tower is not a rocket science. Our scientists, our investors, our doctors, healthcare professionals, top surgeons are doing it elsewhere in the world. You have to just connect the dots, network with them, synergize with them, bring them home, and it can disrupt a lot of value. और उन दिनों में चंद्रयान अभी छोड़े को 1 महीना ही हुआ था. You won't believe it, even those who were supporting the refurb import, they also stood and everybody clapped. And this is how the meeting was concluded. So our tower was actually called there, we give demo, and then all the AIMS directors and all top government institution directors were called in subsequent meetings. And it was shared that when you're buying a call store system, you're waiting for 6 to 9 months. Do we want to stay in that situation? We are paying almost 1.5 to 2 times. And we are not saying that, you buy the product. Our appeal is always just go and give feedback, use the system, give feedback so that even if you don't buy, our engineers go back and improve the system because we are competing in the world, not only for India. And we have been invited by French government, so we've started R&D in France as well, and we are going to launch UnivLab towers from there as well. We are doing well as a company, and I'm seeking everyone's support, not to buy, but let us build that ecosystem together. Thank you very much.